Hello from Safonovo. This is a podcast Pigeon of Peace where we do discuss awesome skills of troubleshooters. Watch, listen, and check the description below for the details. Let's talk about hydrology and let's start with the definition.
Hydrology, this is a science which study movement, distribution, and management of the water on the Earth and other planets, including all the cycle, how it would be frozen, how it would evaporate, and how it would flow. Particularly, this is very important because some of the areas are going to be swamp, and it is much better than we will take some spare water out of the earth. Sometimes we just opposite need to find the water, for example, on the Mars or on the Moon, because people, if they would live there, they would need some water to fulfill their needs. Domains of hydrology usually распространяются
Spread.
Thank you. Spread on the surface hydrology, drain basin, and water quality also, because sometimes it is quite usual that we have water, but quality of this water is poor.
And let's say if we just, like want to study something that we, like want to understand what is the we have, how we can use it, probably, let's say it would start with the inventarization. And well, obviously it may depend on the country, on the institution or whatever, but how the water supply, I'm not talking about demand, but like overall water supply on Earth or on specific territory is being defined, but which measures, but which surveillance?
First, you should know what purpose should be used of this piece of the land. For example, if you would like to make it agricultural, you need a lot of water. And if the root of the flora is quite long, then you should have a lot of different horizon of the water. If you, for example, want to build something on the ground, as taken an example, Burj Khalifa, you need to know that this water is salt. By the way, all these pillars which are installed before Burj Khalifa was built, were built or was built?
Were built.
Well built, thank you. They use very light electricity. This electricity will distract,
Distract, yeah.
thank you, will distract this salt water. If we will not use electricity, it would be under the corrosion, and Burj Khalifa would fall maybe like in 30 years because all the concrete and all metallic parts in it would be rusted. If you want to grow some kind of animals, especially sheep, you have another kind of water quality and water quantity in the ground. So it's often depend what you want to do. Let's take, for example, Venice. This is quite amazement city in Italy, which are built on the channels, and they were using special wood. When it in the water, it became like a stone, and some of these wooden blocks are laying into the water for 200 or 300 years. So if you know exactly what kind of water you have, then you could understand which purpose of this land could be in use.
And sometimes we also might be not only, like looking into what exactly we have, but also looking into like whether we will be able to persist, or let's say if we will need to increase it in the future, like what is the chance that we actually can get it? So is there any risk management on the hydrology, or maybe we'll try to still, like get the answer. Let's say we're running a government and we actually do the risk assessment for different criteria. We have our big risk kit and we actually figure out that, like at certain point of time, we need to look into this. So how to define the risks for the hydrology?
This is quite a good question. I will try to answer. As I know, two countries, this is like Poland and Ukraine, sold to Coca-Cola so-called karst caves in the earth. They contains groundwater, which is бесценный,
Priceless.
priceless. Thank you. These caves are like thermos, It's okay to say thermos in English?
Thermos. Yeah.
They are like thermoses, and they contain pure water, which lay there for thousands or even millions of years. And this water is crystal clear. Sometimes we use water, for example, to заменить, to replace the oil. To replace the oil, and if, for example, we have some special explosion techniques, we will explode underground ammo to create holes, and these holes would be after filled with water and oil. As more light liquid will go up, and then it could be pumped. And also sometimes it is very dangerous to use some groundworks. For example, there is a glina,
Glue or mud.
there is a clue or mud in the ground which create like floor for the water flow. And if it would be disturbed, water could go much deeper. There are several occasions on the Earth when huge amount of water would disappear in a glimpse, in a minute. You could find in internet sometime after some drilling work, lakes, ponds, and even part of the river will disappear because they would go in the holes in the earth. Yes, our earth is not solid. Sometimes it is rock consistent, but sometimes it's all the emptiness. And if we will pump out gas or oil, then it would be replaced by the groundwater. And this is pity, because the more gas, the more oil we take out of the earth, the more water goes beneath.
Well, and it's funny that you mentioned pumping, because I had a privilege to stay in Singapore and in Dubai, and those cities and countries, actually they don't have that much of the fresh water, to be honest. So they actually would import it. So if you would think about, let's say, the area that we need to hydrate, so obviously it's like how the logistic of the hydrology probably may look like, even if it's might be slightly different from the area. But let's say if you want to constantly transport certain amount of water, preserve it there, and also make sure that the quality is good, what kind of thinking, what kind of resources, what kind of, I would say, mechanics we may use to actually achieve it?
You should build a very huge amount of infrastructure. First, you should explore the area and found the amount of storage of the water which is hidden beneath. Second, you need to put pumping towers. Then you need to do a lot of plumb jack work. It's okay to say
Plunger, yeah, plumb work.
plumb work to install those pipes. Then you need a lot of pumps, because sometimes it would be not easy to take water underground because it is laying quite low and it is quite heavy. So it depends from your ability to use so many electricity. You know, it's very funny. Sometimes people build electro stations to supply power for pumping machine, which will take another kind of water out of the ground, because surface water very often is not used for drinking purposes. So it should be infiltrated first.
Right. And now it will be more like a fancy and sci-fi question, but at certain point of time, if we want to get out of the earth, so we'll need to have a supply of water. And if, let's say, we do want to either become independent out of it, maybe, like we'll become a robot or anything else, or we want to have it inside of us. And this is more like a reference to Dune, where we had like a Freemans who actually get like a full cycle of, like processing water and getting it back to the body. So whether hydrology may or may not help with that, or maybe, like it could give a hint where humanity or maybe certain scientists could go to solve the problem of the dependency.
You know, there is a term which could be pronounced as soil monster. So when you run, when you work, when you just live, you will evaporate some amount of water, and it is not easy to collect, and it is also not easy to infiltrate. By the way, have you seen those astronauts which carry with themselves small bag? No one knows, and some people would think, okay, maybe it's spare power bank, but it is toilet. So this is some part of the water which would go with sweat, and it is also urine which will be pumped out from the scaphandre. It's okay to say scaphandre?
Yeah, scaphandre.
Scaphandre, because if you will have it, you will be constantly trying to почесаться,
Itch or scratch.
to scratch yourself. By the way, if you will see the Soviet-made anti-gas mask, it's okay to say противогаз, anti-gas mask,
Anti-gas.
anti-gas
Anti-gas.
mask. It contained special piece of rubber inside, and with help of this, you could scratch your nose if it would be necessary. The same would be made in astronautic equipment. If people will use it under the water in, for example, Звездный City, in special pool where it is simulating international space ship, then if you will be sweat too much, you will be not able to join astronaut team.
And from the ground to space, we review the skill of that could help you, and the skill called hydrology. So learn about it and stay in peace.